The latest stream has shown that the next patch will have major changes to not only buffs themselves, but the buffing system. I'm going to be reciting some of the translations by Mad Slingshot from the Dissidia subreddit in this video, so go ahead and click on the link in the description below to go check it out yourself at the end of the video, because the dude deserves some credit. Give him an upvote if you have the Reddit account. If you want, I'm not saying you have to. Anyways, let's get started with the damage calculation changes. It seems they have changed the calculation terms from being increased stats to damage dealt modifiers. I'm not sure of the significance of this change, but I know it's something worth mentioning. Anyways, like before, the damage you do depending on the opponent's bravery being increased will be calculated after the buffs have been calculated, which should keep things consistent as they are right now. And as it is right now, buffs and debuffs will be calculated together to figure out how much damage you should be doing. To be quite honest, without an English translation, I don't really understand what the significance of these changes were. This whole damage calculation system change or whatever. But I do know of the significance of the upcoming changes with the buff and debuffs. Nearly every single buff and debuff in the game was changed some way. Character specific and generic. Before we get into those, I might as well list off the characters who didn't have any changes to their buffs or debuffs. Garland, Kain, Ultimecia, Golbez, Xenos, Cloud, Emperor, Terra, and Squall are the only characters to not have their debuffs or buffs changed in any way. Okay, now we're going to get into the actual changes to the buffs, debuffs, etc. This is going to be a little bit of a while, so I'm going to put a timestamp on the screen to skip ahead if you don't really care about it. But you probably should, because these are some pretty significant changes. Alongside that, to keep the video from being too long, I'll only be going over the major changes, so skipping over the minor ones. Let's begin with the generic buffs. Biggest change here is that Perfect Defense now protects your entire team. You pop it and it affects your entire team instantly for 12 seconds. It's a lot less greedy now. I expect to see a lot of marksmen using this one, especially ones with less defensive capabilities. Now to generic debuffs. Bindga and Jinx work in tandem now. The Provoke chain can be destroyed by anybody's HP attack now, which works the same way as Warrior Light's Holy Chain. And Doom can be destroyed by anybody landing a single attack on the enemy. This is a massive nerf to Doom. It forces whoever uses it to actually run away the whole time and not get hit by a single attack. But I mean, hey, it only takes 10 seconds and it breaks everybody instantly, so it's a good reset on the match. We'll take this opportunity here to switch to Sephiroth, who has the exact same change to Heartless Angel. Since we're here, we might as well hit the next PS1 characters. Steel's debuff and buff potencies for its target and Zidane was changed to 5%, while Mugs is 10. Also, they both last 15 seconds now. Ramza's and Everate debuff now works at all debuffs calculate down to 20 seconds. What I mean by that is that the first two debuffs are a little bit longer than the last one, but they all come down once you actually land the last hit to 20 seconds in total. When you consider the time the person's stuck in the HP invincibility though, it's probably a little bit shorter than that as well. Discarnate Course has had its defensive buff match up with its offensive buff in each level now. Alongside that, the speed buff has been changed slightly in each level, making it even closer to that of Soul Resonance. And level 2 of Discarnate Course has had its offense and defense buff changed to 12.5%. Going back to the first man himself, Warrior of Light's defensive buff on his Shield of Light has been increased for both levels. Furion's EX skill increases his movement by 10%, and his allies get 50% of his healing. Doesn't seem like there's a range on it now, so I guess it's just global if you land any attacks with the Blood Weapon active. Cloud of Darkness's EX skill now lasts 25 seconds. Cecil's defensive EX buff has now been changed to 25% defense increase, just like his attack is an attack 25% increase. Bart's EX skill defensive and offensive buff both start at 5 and go up by 10 for each job mastered now, while the speed buff goes up by 1.5% for each job mastered. Exdeath's offensive debuff now matches up with his defensive debuff for both Curse and Blight, and Death Kneel lasts 12 seconds now. Rounding out the NES SNES characters is Kefka with his Imp debuff. The effects of it have been changed slightly for both defense and offensive debuffing. Let's move back to the 3D Final Fantasies with the Shantoto. To match up with their other HP attack debuffs, Vidofhunir is now 20 seconds long. Tidus' Slice and Dice debuff now lasts 20 seconds too. Camelot's EX skill now lasts 30 freaking seconds. The attack and defense debuff are now exactly 25%. Vaughn's Azor Torment attack debuff now matches up with the defensive debuff. Vayne's attack and defense buffs were changed to 20%, and its movement speed was changed to 7.5%. Snow's defense up and his transformation mode has changed slightly. The local Schoolboy Ace got his force defense buff increased to be more consistent with his attack buff increase with force in each level, and the movement speed buff was changed to be more consistent with the rest of the cast. Ending it with one last change to best character, Yshtola's react movement speed debuff was changed to negative 10%. Jesus, that took me 2 days to edit together. Welcome back everybody who skipped ahead, and let's continue on to the next part of buffs and changes. That's right, we still got a lot more to go, starting with the summons and then going to the characters. Starting with Ifrit and Odin, since only their post-summon ability got changed. Ifrit now gives a base 25% increase to attack, and Odin gives a 5% increase to movement speed. Bahamut's another pretty simple one, having the break bonus be 1,200 instead of 1,000 before you summon him, and giving you 400 default bravery after you summon him and you use an HP attack. Or get broken, and then you'll regenerate your bravery up to 1,400 instead of 1,000. Ramu and Leviathan basically got the exact same changes. Their EX skill cooldown reduction is 2 times before they're summoned, and after they increase the length of EX skills. Leviathan by 1.3 times, and Ramu by 1.2. Alexander got no changes, so Shiva's the last summon to get changes. Her post-summon buff is exactly the same as Leviathan's, while her pre-summon buff increases the amount of cooldown reduction for unique EX skills whenever you land a hit by 2.75 times. Okay, for the next part I'm really gonna have to summarize the changes because they're character changes and there's a lot of them. We'll start with Excess because they showed gameplay of him. His only change is the black hole, and now if you get hit while doing it, the attack will still continue. Also, you can move out of it much faster, allowing you to combo off of wall rushes and whatnot. We're going to continue doing characters with 1 or 2 changes, but I'm quickly going to mention Ramza here, as he shares Garland's only change. Both of them have had their HP attacks, Blaze and Shitty Jirajiden, changed to be exactly like Vayne's Writ of Conquest. You can hold the button to change how long it lasts for now, and it surrounds them. Speaking of changing how long you can hold things for, Zidane and Onion Knight got a similar change to their backwards Bravery tornado attacks. Both of them got their vacuum effect distance lowered by 2 meters, their knockback ability lowered, their core damage lowered, and Zidane specifically cannot hit people more than once now. But yeah, now you can cancel it much faster, and you can hold onto it and make it go even longer than before. Our last tiny change is with Noctis. Armorager does 10 damage for every input in a move that you land successfully, and for the final input it does 40 extra damage. Now onto the absolute unit that is Ramza, starting with his neutral bravery attack. It was made supposedly smaller and slower for both inputs, and the position correcting was changed for both inputs. Position correcting is when the game changes your angle just slightly to give you small advantage in case you would have missed the attack. It'll spin your character left and right slightly just to help you a little bit. And the shout version of the first attack got its vertical angle changed to be a little bit worse. In the air only. Ramza's forward bravery got pretty much the exact same changes, except they can also be cancelled faster now, so it actually has a little bit of a buff on the side. It also hits less now, but the hits do more damage. Ramza's dash attack also got its position correcting changed. And now to the biggest change, Focus. It takes 0.3 seconds less longer to fill it up, so that's good. But, yeah, Ramza's lost all of his active frames during it. No more super armor, meaning you can just hit him with a bravery attack to get him out of it if he's just standing there charging up. And that ends all the character balance changes. Some pretty big changes to Ramza. Other than that, some buffs to the rest of the cast make them more like the other cast members. And an unforeseen Noctis buff. Sweet. We're almost done here. We just got some arcade changes that are now coming to NT finally. With L3 and R3 in the chat menu, you can mute other players. And hitting the L2 button in certain menus will allow you to swap the music that's currently playing. This, alongside the Kingdom Hearts DLC costumes, makes this my favorite patch we've gotten so far. Okay, not only is this video really long, but my computer's having a hard time even adding the music to the video, so I gotta end it right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you guys next time on Blue the Hedgehog. Leave a comment below what you think about this patch. I gotta hurry. Bye. Oh god.